Tiger King was the #1 show in the U.S.
The Last Dance has chronicled one of the most successful teams in sports history.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
TikTok. Kids these days use it for everything.
Chinese authorities have traced a new deadly virus back to this seafood market in the city of Wuhan.
Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
The U.S. does not have enough coronavirus test kits.
Italy has expanded its response to the coronavirus by locking down the entire country.
The unemployment rate tripling to 14.7%, the highest level since the Great Depression.
Coronavirus cases still high across the country. Students, teachers, and parents have been forced to adapt to distance learning.
Small border county is so overwhelmed, doctors are now deciding who lives and who dies.
There are so many patients coming in right now that there's just not enough beds for them.
COVID has killed more people in one day than the number of people killed on D-Day and at Pearl Harbor.
Coronavirus infections are approaching 80 million worldwide, with global deaths, meanwhile, have reached 1.7 million.
Massive explosion in Beirut. The death toll has climbed to more than 100 people. This morning, it's said to be the most powerful blast ever seen in a city.
Armenia and Azerbaijan have been locked in conflict for 32 years over a piece of disputed territory.
The U.S. launched a strike overnight near Baghdad's airport, killing General Qassem Soleimani.
Iran strikes back with a missile attack targeting U.S. forces.
A Ukrainian passenger jet plane has crashed shortly after takeoff from Tehran, killing at least 170 passengers and crew.
Fire catastrophe in Australia, where the nation's largest evacuation is now underway. The death toll rising, and tonight the staggering toll on the nation's wildlife.
The glow of destructive flames is consuming many parts of the Golden State. A record-breaking 2 million plus acres have burned.
A massive cyclone making landfall in eastern India near Bangladesh.
Hurricane Sally grinding toward shore, slamming the Gulf with heavy rains, potentially devastating flooding.
This is the 10th named storm to hit the U.S. this season alone.
Taal volcano in the Philippines has thrown molten rock into the sky.
People in Mexico City huddled together for safety as a powerful earthquake rumbled their home.
In their worst plague of locusts in decades, authorities in both countries fear a food security crisis.
Murder hornets, the invasive species that could be deadly to humans and bees. And tonight, news of the first known nest in the U.S.
Summer of 2021, that's when the 2020 Summer Olympics will now be held in Tokyo after Japanese officials and the International Olympic Committee announced today the games would be postponed.
Every sport, every athletic escape and rallying point is being halted.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The couple, as you may have heard now, is stepping down as senior members of the family.
President Trump has just been impeached.
Britain is an island again. The United Kingdom declared independence from the European Union.
Massive protests demanding that President Lukashenko resign.
Farmers in India are staging a one-day nationwide strike in protest over the government's reforms to agriculture laws.
Amy Coney Barrett now joins the nation's highest court.
We can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden has been elected President of the United States.
Records were shattered and barriers were broken.
I may be the first woman in this office. I will not be the last.
Too often, systemic racism cuts down young lives before they can achieve their potential.
The nation erupted into scenes of chaos, violence, and widespread destruction into the early morning hours. Dozens of American cities up in flames.
From Brazil to Iran, thousands have gathered to show solidarity with U.S. protests over the killing of George Floyd. He died after a Minneapolis cop kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes. The worldwide events echoed peaceful messages.
We mourned in public, remembering the achievements of fallen icons. But even as we struggle to understand, we know these icons will continue to inspire future generations to strive.
Pfizer is shipping out the first doses of the coronavirus vaccine as we speak, with hopes that this is the beginning of the end.
At least 1.9 million Americans have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
We learned that we know how to put others before ourselves. Despite resistance, despite pushback, we persisted.